how did you become a writing coach, or how long have you been a writing coach, and why did the position attract you?
Oh, good question. um, well, so this is my first year as a writing coach. I started in February. I think February, at the start of the year.
Gosh, you didn't have much time before you had to go online.
No, it all changed quite
Yeah.
quickly. So I've been working online longer than I've been working in person. So
Yes.
it's kind of normal. Yeah, so before that, what kind of made me think I really enjoyed giving students feedback was teaching at ANU. So I taught an English course, which I absolutely loved. I'm from an English background, and I taught an English course. And one of my favorite things was meeting up with students, and they would bring in essay plans, and we would talk about their essay and what their argument was and what their structure was. And I would love when students might come into a session a little bit unsure. I don't know about this argument. I don't know about the structure. And by talking through it, we could really quickly start to figure out how to make it work, and seeing their confidence grow and be like, oh, and maybe I could add in this paragraph, and maybe this will work. That was really a great experience. And then when I saw the position at Academic Skills giving that sort of feedback, I thought, oh, got to apply for that. And
you found your home almost.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect.
Like, this is the best of both worlds. I can get paid and do what I love.
Yeah, winning.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Yeah. And as you mentioned, you've only been in this position since February, so you've been working online longer than you have ever in person.
Yeah.
So I suppose it's an even more different world online than it is person. How do you, I suppose, just a follow-up question before we go into our final segment of the interview, how do you think students have adapted to having written feedback given over Zoom or over Teams, or how do you think that the transition has worked for students?
Yeah, another good question. I think it's different between different students. I think it must be really hard for first year students who have kind of just started university, and they might not even have a big network yet, and they're thrown into this whole university experience without necessarily knowing much about how to do it or having lots of people to talk to about it. And so we're really encouraging students, if you want to just hop on a Zoom session with us and just talk to us about how your university is going so far, maybe there are just little things that are difficult. We're very happy to talk about that, because I think it must be really difficult. But then at the same time, students are really thriving. They're really putting their effort in. They're, finding new ways to manage their time, new environments to work in. So many people are really good at kind of working in this new online way. And so we're offering two ways to give feedback. We either let students submit their work through Turnitin, and we give them written feedback, or we offer Zoom sessions. And we find Zoom sessions are really helpful because we can actually talk through what's been going on and let the student lead what they need feedback on most. But either way, students are really good at giving us the information that they need, getting the feedback from us, coming back and asking for more help if they need it. So I think moving online, although it's been difficult, actually has produced some really good things.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with that. And I think that I teach criminology at the ANU, and I think that very much so that has been a key factor, that a lot of students, some students have struggled, and that's, we can't deny that, but I think the majority of students have actually thrived in this new environment. They've sort of taken on the challenge, and they've also known how and when to reach out for help. Absolutely. So I guess the final two questions, the penultimate question that I have, and then Nadia will ask the final question. The penultimate question is, if you could give students one piece of advice, and whether that be about their writing style or about academic life in general, what would it be?
I think, and particularly thinking back to me as an undergrad who was, anxious about things and wanting to get things right and doing the best I could, I would say, just don't be afraid to ask. I know it might seem scary, or you might seem like, oh, I should already know this. But we don't judge at all. You can come to us and say, I don't really understand referencing. And we'll be like, okay, well, let's talk about how referencing works. Or I don't really get what my lecturer is saying. And we'll be like, well, let's see if we can figure it out. Totally fine not to know. You're thrown into the whole university experience with very little training about how university works. So definitely just ask.
Yeah, I think that's a great piece of advice. Just ask if you're unsure, because your services are out there, and they're not judgmental, and they're there for everybody. And really, we have the central goal of helping students. We want, students to get the best out of the university experience. So, and absolutely. So I think that's a great piece of advice.
Yeah. And the last piece of question, I know my answer to this, but for those who don't, why should students come and book an appointment with you or with Academic Skills?
Well, I think because we're just here to help. It's free. You don't have to pay, which is great for students. And I think often students come in with an idea of what they might need help with, but actually the bigger thing is something else that we might notice. They might come in and say, I don't know if paragraph 3 really works, and I'm really worried about paragraph 3. And we might say, well, actually, I think really what's going to make it better is making your argument more clear, or articulating your points a bit better. And so I think you get things out of it that you didn't know you would ever get out of it. And I've had appointments with Academic Skills before and been like, oh, I've never even thought of that. And now I'm going to remember it all the time. And there's so many useful resources that we can point out to you and we can take you through, but also you can just find on our website, things like essay writing guides or science report guides, that sort of thing. Or even just to talk to someone about how it's going.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Definitely important.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's a really important point to finish on. So, if you're unsure about, and this is more to the students that are watching, if you're unsure about, academic life, academic skills, academic writing, or you just want to have a chat to somebody, come and have a chat with Kate or one of her colleagues at Academic Skills. And I'm sure that they will be able to point out some fantastic resources to make sure that you not only survive at university, but you thrive.
Yes, please come and see us.